Not that I was aware, but there was one little situation, and I had been very close to Andre the Giant. When he was, when I was in Amarillo, when I was in other territories, and he was barnstorming where he would come into depending on the size of the territory, anywhere from a week to 3 weeks. And invariably, I would have him over to my home to cook a home-cooked meal for him. And I thought that I had, a really a good relationship with him. And Vince was always up front. There was no things going on behind and things said about. He was very upfront, which I have great respect for him for that. But he told me that it shocked a lot of people when I was hired to go to New York, and Andre was there at the time, and because my background had been so closely associated with the National Wrestling Alliance territories. Vince told me one day, he said, Andre came to him, and again, Andre would go to other territories, but Vince is the one that booked him out. And he said, Andre came to him, and he said, I just want you to know, because we don't have any secrets around here. He said, Andre, said, you sure that you're good with hiring this guy? Because he's been so strongly associated with the NWA. You have any reservations at all? And Vince said, no, I'm very comfortable with hiring him, and whatever contact I've had with him so far, he's everything that I heard about him, and I'm glad that we were able to get him. Vince then, made it a point to share that conversation with me about Andre, and he said, I just want you to know that Andre came to me and said, hey, he's one of those NWA guys. Are you sure that you want him here? And we laughed about it, and I don't know if Andre ever even knew that Vince shared that with me, but that's how Vince was. He didn't want behind the scenes maneuvering, secrets, that kind of thing. And we just laughed about it, and it didn't affect my relationship with Andre, because I understood why Andre said it, because basically I had worked my whole career in the South and with the NWA, and now I'm in a different territory. And even though I was born and raised in New Jersey, I was originally from that area. But that's how Vince was. He was very, very open about everything and no secrets. And I never had a discussion with Andre, and Vince told Andre, and this is what Vince told me. He said, no, I know about his background, and I've looked him over, and I've met him, and very comfortable, and he's everything that I've heard about him, and I want him for his attention to detail, and he's going to be an asset to my company. And it was never mentioned again.
Ever any issue with Andre at all after that? Any conversations where it seemed a little awkward or anything like that?
No. And I understood where Andre was coming from, because Vince is the one that, when he was basically Vince's property, and back in the territory days, Vince would book him out through Jim Barnett, to come to Calgary for a week or 2 weeks, or be there for Stampede Week, and a couple weeks here and a couple weeks there. So I understood, and it wasn't because there was ever any attention with Andre. Like I said, every territory that he ever came into, I want to make it a point to have him come to the house one day for a meal, and he's appreciated that.
As far as Vince and Andre and guys like that, ever any other kind of issues with any of the guys besides Andre, where maybe Vince would tell you something, or maybe Vince is telling you that for a reason? It was, was there any other issues as far as that?
Not that I'm aware of. And I think the point that Vince was making was he didn't want anybody to have hidden agendas that nobody knew about, or that something would come around where you would have to go back to Vince and say, Vince, I heard this. Oh, yeah, I wasn't going to mention it. Vince was very open and above board about everything. And like, when Andre said something, I think Andre had been booked by Vince for so long and had done so well financially. And he just made a comment that because my whole career had been in the South, he just made a comment to Vince about, that's where he's been his whole career. Are you sure that this is what you wanted to do in hiring him? And there was no malice. There was no issue with Andre at the time. It just something was said, and Vince's policy was, we don't have any secrets. I want you to know. I don't want you to have an issue. Go back to Andre and say, hey, why did you say this? I just want you to be aware that conversation took place, and that's how it was handled. And I like that because that gives you a comfort level in dealing with somebody like Vince, of knowing that that's his policy.